like I used to, and I need another notch on my belt. If you're looking for a six-pack, muscled up kind of man, better look somewhere else. Yeah, I can stand to lose a few pounds, but for right now, I'm working on my dad bottle.
It's bacon time, everybody. It's Brad here from the Dads with Bacon Talking Sports Show. We're here on a normal Thursday night, and we are ready to talk about the Super Bowl that's coming up. First, we got to talk about a little Championship Sunday. What a lot of action. Big calls by Man Campbell not paying off. Patty Mahomes, my Lord. Has he reached GOAT status already? I guess we'll be finding out today. We got some L&B to talk about. Oh, that chest is puffed. It's puffed. Go suck it in, Marco. Come on, Marco. You got it going.
What's happening, buddy?
Let's hear your best chop, brother.
You want to see it? You got to go full extension. You got to go full extension, right? Don't stop there, right? You got to go all the way down. You're not getting a good view because of the background, because of the green screen. Yeah, GOAT status, absolutely 100%. 100% GOAT status already.
What an amazing weekend for Chiefs fans, Brad.
We're cherishing them. We cherish them now because we have to, because we know we don't go there every year.
That sounds
someone that now knows that you don't go every year, right?
The hills.
Somebody that knows you don't go every year.
Way up Norris, Big Brandon. How you doing, Stony Baloney? Muted.
Muted. You're on mute.
Muted.
Oh, can we slow the roll on the whole Mahomes GOAT thing? Like, he's on Mount Rushmore, but let's just slow it down a little bit, okay?
Hey, we gotta
go every year.
Tom's got to be the GOAT for at least another 2 or 3 years, right?
I mean, he did it for 20 plus years. You could break his career up in 3 parts and have a Hall of Fame in each one. So.
About your damn luck.
We got big Cowboys.
I'm a quick swimmer.
Maryland, baby. How you doing, big warrior?
What is up, guys? Hey, you know what? If we're talking about GOATs right now, Dak Prescott's the best GOAT of them all. Y'all need to shut up.
I'm choking.
Hot.
Hold on, I got it.
Hey, Gotti. Hey, man, a big day for your O's. I mean, being able to pick up Corbin Burns. I mean, you got to be excited for that, brother.
Okay, so y'all know I'm a huge Astros fan, die hard, but I will always support the O's when they're not playing each other. And I can tell you right now, dude, that trade was solidified. And that is something the O's need right now. The fact that they only gave up 2 guys who were in the bullpen, not really like DL Hall wasn't too bad, but he was very injury prone. And I believe the other guy, what was his name? I forgot the other guy's name. He really didn't play too much for the O's. He was more of a farm system guy, and he was still learning his ways to get in there, but he's definitely big league ready. So yeah, here in Baltimore, dude, buzz is ridiculous right now. And it's going to be fun to watch.
Cal Ripken Jr. is getting in
on
the franchise.
I have every single person that's on this list for who's getting the O's. Let me run you guys down with this. So Rubenstein, okay? Aria Gotti, don't know who he is. Cal Ripken Jr., Goldstein and Smith, Kurt Schnoke, Grant Hill, and Mike Bloomberg. Do you guys know what they all have in common?
They're Jewish.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Jewish. They're all from Baltimore. Every single one of them is from Baltimore. And Goldstein and Smith are the biggest lawyer executives in the state of Maryland. And they're the lawyers for the Orioles.
That's amazing stuff, man. It's good to see that things are turning around for the Orioles. They were a rough franchise for a long time, and it seems to be lately some renaissance of some classic teams like Baltimore, Detroit Lions, Cleveland Browns. A lot of teams that have been seeing a minimal success over the past few decades to actually enjoy some. But first, we got to talk about the biggest event of the weekend, and it's Championship Sunday. Championship Sunday is always one of the highest rated weekends of football besides Super Bowl. And that's because it's a chance to get in the big dance. And we're going to start with San Francisco, Detroit. San Francisco was in a huge hole early in this game, Marco. Going into halftime, what were your thoughts about Detroit and San Francisco and how this matchup was kind of
I'll be honest with you. At 24-7 or 21-7, I turned it off and started playing some Red Dead Redemption 2. And it wasn't until my son came home at around halftime, and he's like, "What do you mean you're not watching the game?" So then I was like, "All right, fine, I'll turn it on so that it's on in the background while he plays video games." But then I saw it all unfold. I saw the Lions crap the bed, fumble the ball over, leave points on the board, gambling too much, and you got to play till 000s, right? I mean, you have to take the points when you get them, and I think that's a huge mistake. I think Campbell will live on that. He owned up to it and doubled down and said that's just how he's going to do it, and that costs coaches their jobs. So if he hopefully he hits next time and it doesn't turn out like this, because the Lions had it in the bag and they gave it up.
So, Brandon, think about the way Dan Campbell's coached his team in the entire season. First question: Are you surprised to see him going on 4th and 3s, 4th and 2s, leaving the field goes on? And then second, do you believe that he should have even thought about changing the way that he's coaching it with the Super Bowl in your rearview mirror?
So, I mean, he's been like this the whole year. And if it's okay in the first half, if we're gonna praise him in the first half for going for it and putting up points, then we can't bag him in the second half. This is who he's been the entire year. So I thought there was one instance where he should have kicked the field goal to put it up. What would have been 37 at that point, or 27. He would have been up 3 scores. They would have had to score the ball 3 times, score 3 times. I think that would have been a little bit more challenging, but you gave that momentum to San Francisco. So this has been who he is. And the Lions are fine, man. They got Dan Campbell. They believe in him. So I think they're fine. They're fine.
So TJ, San Francisco pulls off the comeback. A lot of people, including people within the Dads with Bacon family, have not been willing to give Brock Purdy his flowers for what's been taking place offensively. Did that game change your opinion about Brock Purdy at all, or do you feel that he got supporting cast that it's kind of a team effort to more Brock Purdy?
So I think it is. It's there's no I in team. One person can't make a whole team, and we saw that last year when San Fran played the Eagles. Like, they had to go to Christian McCaffrey to play quarterback. Good Lord, this Mountain Dew is making me burp everywhere. I honestly think that Purdy is the MVP this year. He's shown that he can come back from an injury. He can, and solidify himself as a starter, which is what he needs to do.
I love it.
I honestly think when it comes to this, especially over the weekend, the team was down. And, do I think in the halftime he said something to those guys? Of course. You're going to have to. You're the quarterback, for Christ's sake. Who else is going to say something? Christian McCaffrey? All right, cool.
Yeah. Christian McCaffrey can say something. Anybody can say something. You got to perform on the field. And look, give him his flowers. He's got there. I'm not saying – I just don't think he's the MVP. I think without the running game, without the running game, forget about it. You say that with always Super Bowls. You need the running game. You got to give it. If it's that close, I'm giving it to the running back.
So, and here's the thing, though, and I wrote these stats down. He was 20 for 31, 267 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Great, right? Cool, whatever. Goff was 25 for 41, 273, and 1 touchdown.
And that's not even counting what he did in the second half.
Exactly.
The second half was historical.
And here's where I think this is going to solidify my opinions on Brock Purdy. He told that offensive line to keep Aiden Hutchinson off of him. Aiden Hutchinson had no tallies this whole game. Didn't have a tackle. Didn't have a sack. Didn't have anything.
MVP because he told his guys to do their job?
Hell yeah.
Because he said block. That's what you do.
I mean, hey, you know what? Are you Marco? Are
Hold
you
on,
scared?
Hold on, Mark. Are
you
you saying that
scared, Marco?
Aiden Hutchinson's just another dude?
What are you
No,
afraid
I'm
of?
just-
You
but I'm
afraid of
scared?
little Purdy
wanna
just
give
dicing you?
You want to give Purdy the
Dyson.
MVP because he told his guys to block the best defensive
Dyson.
player on the field?
Are you scared, Marco, that he did his job and
Right,
Patrick Mahomes has to babysit?
Quick
Patrick
straw ball.
Mahomes-
Quick straw ball here. Hands up if you would vote either first or second place for Brock Purdy for MVP this season.
I got to. I got
Mm.
to. I have to. Besides the Baltimore game,
Who else?
And-
who do you have? Who do you got? If you say Patrick Mahomes, Marco, I'm leaving this right now.
no,
I-
he can't be. He can't.
Personally, if I were in the seat, I would say Lamar. I still think Lamar is the MVP. That's the
of the
first
regular
game
season,
of-
sure.
I think
Yeah,
Lamar
yeah.
has a good.
week 1 through
yeah.
18, and give it to Lamar. What a great job he did
I think secondary.
until the second
I
half.
think
of the
I would
game.
vote for.
There's a
Christian
case for
McCaffrey.
Lamar and there's a case for Purdy too. So it's like that the Ravens game hurts Purdy's case, but he's still got a pretty good case for. I mean, he was leading the MVP race most of the season. And it's in his second year. Like
you
what
can-
he did that second half against Detroit was, I don't think people really give him enough credit for that. He had 152 yards in the second half with an 89% completion percentage. Single-handedly helped change that game with his huge runs on third down, on second down. I mean, his decision making, he didn't play that good in the first half. Neither did the 49ers defense. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I thought Detroit was going to run away. We all talked about the blowout. Which one was it going to be? Like, I thought that was going to be a blowout. But
Okay, so if Purdy has a good argument to be MVP and you want to put him first or second, but we say Lamar's going to be the MVP, and then McCaffrey wins Offensive Player of the Year, how is he not better than Purdy?
because I've said
Purdy's
it all
the
along, it's a
quarterback.
quarterback award.
It's ridiculous.
Unless
Ridiculous.
McCaffrey would have broken Peterson, like he would have had to have a Adrian Peterson career year, like Tyreek was on the verge of 2,000. If Tyreek would have got 2,000, he's MVP. I don't care what Purdy did. I don't care what Lamar did. If you have to do that in order to beat a quarterback in the MVP race, that's why I think people are getting so tired of it because it always goes. But knowing that, you have to look at the quarterbacks. Okay, who's it going to go to? The best team in the league. The best quarterback is usually putting up the best numbers to be the best in the league, especially in the NFL. So it sucks, but you got to. Unfortunately, we have to look at what we've been looking at for the last 50 years.
So let's take some of this, TJ, and let's think about moving forward with the Detroit Lions. What's your confidence level about this squad going in the next 1, 2, 3 years?
Oh, me?
Mm.
TJ.
Well, I don't know. He started talking when I was about to say something. But no, I think that Detroit is behind Dan Campbell 100%, and that's what a coach needs, and that's what a team needs. Is if your players are behind your coach, your head coach, who has been through the roughest of the rough, that's all it is. I think that the Lions have a lot to build on next year, and a lot of these guys that they have are young. They're very, very good at what they do, and they can easily get themselves better. So I think that the Lions next year, we could see them back in the NFC Championship game, 100%, and they will run the tables in the NFC. What are they, North? That's their division to lose now.
Marco, what do you think as a pseudo Bears fan? Do you think the Lions are going to be back-to-back? They're going to be back-to-back champs?
Here comes a hot take. The Lions are going to go 17-0. The Lions are going to be the cream of the crop of the NFC. When you knock them down, they're going to bite your ankles and they're going to come back up. And you knock them down again and they're going to take out a kneecap and they're going to come back up. And what happened this past weekend is they got knocked down for that third time. And hell hath no fury for both the Lions and the Ravens. I think, and I know the Ravens lost their defensive coordinator, but I got a feeling that, and I hate Lamar. because of his Louisville days. Okay, my hate is college football hate, and it transitions into the NFL, and he is going to go ballistic, and he might throw for 4,000 yards and rush for 2,000 yards next year, because he's just going to put everything on his back like he tried to the year he got hurt, and he's just going to go off. I mean, that's my hot take. That's my hot take. And so be on warning. The Lions are going to come out like gangbusters. They're going to try to put up 70 points on everybody every week. And that's my hot take.
Well, let's go ahead and transition into AFC title game, since you got the mic real quick, Marco. What do you think about your Chiefs' performance against that Ravens defense?
So against the defense, great, right? They were able to put up more points than the other team. I think that both game plans were faulty, and I think I'll be honest with you, I'll say the Ravens lost that game more than the Chiefs won that game. Look, Lamar is the one that threw it in the triple coverage. Everybody wants to blame the referees, but he had a lane he could have ran. The defensive line was gassed. For whatever reason, they only ran the ball 6 times with their running backs. What were they thinking? I don't know. You get the huge penalty for taunting, which it was. You can't push the guy down, flip the ball at him, stand over him and yell. That's taunting. You can't do that. And that cost them. And of course, the great defense of the Chiefs, making that play on the goal line and just flipping everything over. But I do think that the game plan, Harbaugh got out coached or outcoached himself, and Lamar, I think, stayed within the boundaries of what they told him they wanted to do, and that cost them. And we'll see.
So Brandon, seeing this KC defense really hold Lamar in check this entire game. I mean, he only ran for 50 yards and threw for another, shows here, 270. So, I mean, what does this KC defense show you this weekend that has you scared for San Francisco?
I mean, that, like Marco said, that Ravens lost that game. I mean, that game plan they had was terrible. Their offensive line did a very good job at holding KC to give Lamar time in the pocket. So I think the Niners have that to look forward to as long as they, play their game. But yeah, Baltimore, I don't understand the game plan with that. And if you're Lamar, you're supposed to be the MVP. Like, why are you not doing what you did in the Texans game and using your legs? Like, you were the reason why you won that Texans game, one of the big reasons. And I mean, like Marco said, you throw it into triple coverage, you're not going to win games doing that. And if you're Zay Flowers, why are you not running that ball in? You're fast enough. You have 2 guys on your hip and one coming across, and you have a lane into the end zone. Why are you not running? Why are you diving from like the 4-yard line? I didn't understand either. So, and the penalties hurt them, and Baltimore just they cost them. And the Chiefs defense, I mean, they've been one of the top in the league. So as far as the Niners, I think they got something to look forward to. As long as everybody does their job, they can hold this lineup too.
All right, TJ, you're our feet on the street. It was hype in Baltimore last week, and man, what's it like this weekend, just around town, and then the disappointment that comes along with losing this game?
Well, it probably shouldn't be a joking matter, but a lot of people were quitting their jobs after this one. A lot of people called out on Mondays. I can tell you that. No, I think the biggest thing with this whole game, as a Dallas fan, people are going to say Dallas is in the playoff. Hell yes, they do. They can't win a damn playoff game. But I'm going to say this, and this is something I've noticed every year. Rookies are going to be rookies in the playoffs. Zay Flowers is a rookie, and he made stupid rookie mistakes. 100%. The taunting call, dude, come on now. I get it. It's a high-profile game. There's a lot of it is on the line. Great. But as Brennan said, dude, he is very fast. He had an open lane to go in, and you dive 4.5 yards out from the end zone for what? Why? Are you scared to get hit? Because now that just shows you're scared to get hit. So the mood here in Baltimore before the trade and before the O sold was so somber, dude. You would think that somebody, like some mass destruction, something happened in the heart of Baltimore, and we're mourning the loss of like somebody stupidly famous. It was quiet. A lot of the sports reporters, like, we don't want to hear about these games. Like, we don't want to hear about the game. We understand we lost, but they weren't putting the loss on the team. They were putting it on the referees. And they're just like, the refs lost us the game. No, dude. Like, there's a lot of things that could have happened. If you opened up your run game, you could have smacked the Chiefs.
Can you run the ball more than 6 times?
For real. What are we doing?
81
Run the ball.
81 total rushing yards all game. 81. Okay. You put Lamar in the pocket, and I told Marco and I talked about this on Tuesday a little snippet. That defensive line for Kansas City is one of the scariest right now. Outside of San Francisco, I would never want to face that line. They just lost a solidified DN for them who got a strip sack. Charles Omenihu was out for the season with a torn ACL. 2 plays after that. They can replace
What
that.
made them
Next
so
man up.
scary though? Like Lamar had like 4 to 5 seconds to pass multiple times.
But dude, they get so much pressure on the goal line stance. I can tell you right now, goal line stance, watching that whole time, that offensive line was scared. They were shaking in their boots when that happened. So whatever it is with that defensive line,
I mean,
I'm gonna tell you right now.
The red zone is really good.
We were bringing the heat. The Chiefs were blitzing a lot, and when they were doing that, they would show blitz, and then they would stay home and just kind of ease up on the line, and they wouldn't penetrate because they were containing Lamar so that he couldn't do what we thought he was going to do. They didn't have their spy out there, so although it looked like he had time to throw, and they were challenging the receivers to get open, and they weren't getting open. But how does Isaiah Likely moss it up in triple coverage like that
with 2 guys already there,
and somebody was basically holding him? I mean, you could have made a call for that, sure, possibly, but the ball was thrown behind him and he was not open. How do you do that?
Like, I don't understand. Like, and that's what I was kind of wondering with the with why the defense was scary, because Lamar, if he really wanted to, which he should have, was run the ball. He's not a passing quarterback. His passing game improved this year, but that is not what he is known for. So I don't know why on the offensive game plan, why you have a running quarterback who's going to win an MVP because of, or a main reason. Why are you trying to outduel Patrick Mahomes? If you're not Tom Brady or, some of these elite quarterbacks, you're not going to outduel him. That's just not going to happen. You have to stick with what you have done best all year, or you're going to lose. I don't understand what Baltimore was doing. They had that game.
I think they were overthinking. They were overthinking the game 100%. And when you really look at the Lamar playing, yes, he had that ability to run out. But dude, the front 7, I'm not even going to say just the backers, the front 7 of the Kansas City Chiefs, they are good. And if Lamar were to get out of that pocket, they have that spy, like he was saying. It doesn't matter where the spy is coming from. Yeah, he was going to get leveled. And if you were going to say the Ravens were going to go to the Super Bowl and beat the Chiefs, yes, they're going to do it with Lamar. But they're not going to do it with a damaged Lamar coming into the Super Bowl stupidly hurt. Chiefs were throwing the kitchen sink. They came into Baltimore and they took their fried chicken and everything and ran.
Right, but it's the fact Lamar's he's just not a passing quarterback. Like there's only a reason why Brady and Burrow are the only ones that are able to take down Mahomes, because they stick to the game plan. That's been the game plan all year. They don't shy away from it and try to do anything more. Like I just think if he would have started running more, that would have got the Chiefs defense, especially the defensive backs, really thinking like, all right, well, how it's been what, let's just say in the clock in their head, they're like, I'm chasing this guy down, I gotta look back because Lamar's ran. He's got some.
That's
big
what happened on their
yardage,
first touchdown. That's what happened on their first touchdown, right? He had all that time,
right?
And then next thing you know, you're looking to see if Lamar took off running, and Flowers heads up the seam, and if for 6.
They just
you guys. So
no,
you
but
guys,
give Kansas City credit though. I mean, Kelsey did Mahomes and Kelsey were on a new level that game.
But
those
do you think
guys were.
So before we start praising the Chiefs, though, do you think that there might be some discussion about Lamar in Baltimore, and that maybe it's not the fit that they need with regards to the scheme and the things that they do, and that they might try to do something, and maybe Harbaugh doesn't want him back, and they make a move, or are they married to Lamar? Brad, what do you think?
I think Lamar.
I think they're definitely married to Lamar. I think he's definitely in their long-term plans. And especially you saw Lamar improve as a passer once they were able to pick up, say, Flowers. That was I think that was a home run pick for them. They needed a wide receiver bad. I'm sorry, Odell Beckham doesn't do it anymore. He's
I don't know why they didn't target him more too.
Yeah, I mean again, when you're not getting open, and it's.
But when they actually targeted him in the second half, he was making some good. He's making some big plays, some big catches. I just don't like. Do you think he wasn't a part of that game plan at all until they were like, well, let's just throw you in here, I guess, get something to work.
I guess he's got 4 more years left on that $260 million contract that he signed. So I guess they are kind of sort of married to him.
Well, I mean, you gave him $500 million. $500 million for 5 years. Yeah, they're married to him.
$260 million left, yeah.
And here's the sad part about
That's
it.
A whole lot of money.
That is. And Eric DaCosta right now, he could spend that on his boat that's sitting in Annapolis Harbor, making sure it's winterized because we're getting some crappy weather. But instead, Eric DaCosta wants to pay him this money because he's like, hey, Lamar won me an MVP. That's our franchise quarterback. You've had many franchise quarterbacks that still can't do anything.
Well,
does it change your perspective on where you have Lamar ranked at all? To any of you, does that game, seeing his performance and seeing how bad, do you think it changes how we look at him moving forward? Hey, he just.
What do you mean? That's what do you mean? That's playoff Lamar. He is who we thought he was. That's exactly what he's going to be. And
it doesn't make me look at Lamar any different. It makes me look at the OC a lot different because they had him high expectations. Todd Monken, dude, coming in from Georgia, winning back-to-back national titles, was high praise. And when they gave that, hey, he's coming to Baltimore, dude, Baltimore was thrilled. All right, he just won 2 national titles. He knows how to play with a system quarterback that can run and do other, situational talents. Dude, Todd Monken was not ready for playoffs. He's ready for college football players, but not the NFL.
So moving on to this next week, we got the week off with all the Pro Bowl festivities. And then we're going to give our quick reaction. Our quick and 30-second reactions. So let's start with Brandon. San Francisco, KC, what are you looking in for this game? And an early winner before we go into next week.
Oh, well, you definitely know where I'm going. I'm going Niners all the way on this one. But I think this could be a different story, man. I'm waiting for the Niners team we've seen for a majority of the year to come out. They haven't, especially their defense. They haven't looked that way the past 2 weeks. So I think these 2 weeks, get some guys healthy, get a good game plan going. This could be a game where we see the Niners, the full Niners, come back.
Cowboy, what you got for us?
I'm wondering, and Marco, you follow the Chiefs a lot. Is this Kadarius Toney story looming over their head a lot right now? Is this going to be something that clouds their thoughts coming into the Super Bowl? That's kind of what I'm wondering. Because all fingers point that Kadarius Toney is not showing up for the Super Bowl after the Chiefs lied about what was going on. So I honestly, even with all this going on, I've got the Chiefs. They struck a match at the right time, and they are red hot. And it's hard to stop a red hot team. So, it's going to be a great game, but I'm going to stick with the Chiefs, even though there's a lot of drama in that front office.
So, Tony showed up for practice. He was there today. I think any coach that's going to be able to get a guy to man up and perform, it's going to be Andy Reid. Anytime you have an opportunity to win a Super Bowl, you're going to do what you need to do to win a Super Bowl. And he was the hero from last season. So from the last Super Bowl, you saw what happened with MVS during these playoffs. He's had some huge grabs, some huge catches, one to seal the deal on Sunday. So if he's mentally prepared and ready to go, he's going to be there. Is he going to get the snaps that he's used to? Maybe not. Rice is the guy. Rice is wide receiver 1. MVS looks like he's going to be wide receiver 2, and fill in however else you want to fill in, because you got Kelsey is going to get his grabs as well. But I don't think that there's going to be any sort of distraction or anything on the fact that he was out for that game and was injured, wasn't injured, mental health, whatever the situation may be. Not worried about it.
It wasn't even mental health. It was the fact he had a baby.
Fine, give him maternity leave. Go do what you got to do. Plan better next time. You count backwards 9 months from the Super Bowl, and don't do that then. Okay.
If I'm San Francisco, man, I am not letting Kelsey beat me. I don't know what these other teams are doing or why they're letting Kelsey, so wide open, but I am not letting him beat me. If you want to beat me with Rashid Rice and Scanley, then that's fine. But you cannot. They cannot let Kelsey do what he did to Baltimore.
Who's going to cover Kelsey? Who's covering Kelsey?
My brain.
You got Fred Warner. He can. Their Niners secondaries. I mean, they're no joke either.
The best safety couldn't cover him. That Kyle Hamilton guy couldn't
How is he the best safety?
Stop.
Oh, all right. Well, okay.
He's not even one of the best players on their defense.
Well, my brain says 49ers. I think they're the better overall of a team, but man, in my heart, I've on FanDuel, I've been burnt by Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs so many times. How can I bet against them? So I'm torn right now. I'm thinking a close game and the Chiefs pull it out just because they got the Mahomes magic. But I think I'm gonna debate about this. I got to think about this a little longer.
I wasn't aware either that Kansas City's never led in the Super Bowl. Their 2 wins they have, they've never led in the Super Bowl. Or the 3 that they've been in, they've never led. So
you just have to lead at the end. That's the only part that matters.
Do you think? But when the this Niners team's a little different than the Jimmy done too. That was a different Niners team than this one.
We'll see. So that back shoulder TD in the first drive was the first TD that Kyle Hamilton gave up all season. So
I'm gonna take it that's Ben. I'm gonna take it that's Ben saying that. No one cares. No. Ben, he's out, and so are you.
It was me. Don't send strays to Ben. That was me. I did that myself.
All right, moving on from Super Bowl talk. Let's go ahead and get ourselves into a little bit of the coaching carousel. Carousel came to an end today. Rides over. The last hire with Dan Quinn to the Commanders. So we got a lot of coaches changing this year. A lot of firings with Smith out of Atlanta, Rivera out of Commanders, Staley out of the Chargers, Reich with the Panthers, Carroll with the Seahawks, Belichick with the Patriots, Josh McDaniels with the Raiders, Vrabel with the Titans. I mean, so many openings. Let's start off with TJ, dude. Which hiring excites you the most, and you see some of the biggest changes coming through?
Marco, can you put that back up for me real quick? There's something that I want to kind of catch up on. So, all right. For one, I'm definitely very upset Dan Quinn left and went to a rival team. So next time I go to a Commanders game, which is going to be next season against Dallas, I'm going to find Dan Quinn, give him a good middle finger, and say you should have stayed in Dallas. I think the best coaching spot right now was a coach that was already there during the season, Antonio Pierce. Dude, he's got that team. And the fact your stud DN said if he leaves, I leave, and then like multiple others agreed with him. Again, that's like a Dan Campbell type of thing. Dan Campbell leaves, I guarantee you half that Lions team leaves. Everybody else on here, Jim Harbaugh, great. You just won a national title. We just talked to Cole, last week. Cool. You got a quarterback you can work with. With Carolina, I'm actually very impressed. Not just with their head coaching, but they got a brand new GM in Dan Morgan. And Dan Morgan played in Carolina for multiple seasons and knows what it's like to be around that area and what it's like to play as a Carolina Panther. So that's another one that I'm really excited to see. But outside of that, I mean, everything else kind of was just like handed to the next person down. I mean, besides the Commanders, which I thought they'd give it to Bieniemy, that's the one that surprised me the most. I mean, so Bieniemy's ready. He's an HC.
And I thought that's why he went to Washington, was to be that next man up.
I think he got screwed.
He got massively screwed. And I'm gonna give this hot take. Marco, you can put that hot take sound bar if you want right now. Bieniemy is gonna be leaving the Commanders. And it's not going to be – it'll be like in the next couple of days because he got –
of course. Boned. That's not hot. I don't think that's hot. I don't think Dan Quinn owes him anything or thinks he owes him anything. He's bringing his own guys. I don't – yeah, why would you do that? Because then you have somebody that's in the building already that wants your job. And, yeah, I wouldn't do that. Do you think that in Vegas they had like a Dan Devine situation from Rudy where Max Crosby put his jersey down and was like – if you don't hire him as the coach, we're not going to play for him. And everybody was lined up doing the same thing.
Yep. Dude, Max Crosby loves Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's Antonio Pierce.
The whole Raiders does.
Dude,
so
yeah.
So let's go down the top of each of us. And we'll start with you, Brad. Rate the hire. Are they in a better position or worse position?
Atlanta, I would on a scale, let's say a scale 1-10. I like the hire. I think it's an 8. It's definitely better than Arthur Smith. He's coached and had a lot of high respect from the Rams organization, their players, like top to bottom. Like I was listening to a podcast with what's his name from the NBC, Mike Florio. And what he said, did a sit-down interview with one of the members of the Rams organization that normally, like when you got a good coach, you don't try to put him out there as much. But they're like, he's such a good dude. And he's like always got his players back. He's coaching, good coaching. I think it's a scale 8, solid 8. And solid it's definitely 8. An improvement. Yeah.
Stony Baloney, Atlanta Falcons. How do you like that hire versus Arthur Smith?
I think that's good for him. Yeah. I think it'll be good for him. I was shocked they didn't go with Belichick. You had him for 2 interviews, so I'm not really sure what that was all about, but I think he'll be good.
TJ?
Solid 2.5.
Oh, I think it's an upgrade. I think it's an upgrade based on the weapons that they have. Brad, Washington Commanders, Dan Quinn going defense again, getting rid of Riverboat Ron.
Riverboat Ron was a lame duck this year. You knew he was getting the axe. I mean, they would have had to win the division and win a playoff game. I mean, they would have had to do so much to save his job. So I definitely think it's a new ownership, new regime, new head coach. It's a clean slate. I like the hire.
Stoney?
Yeah. I don't like the hire. I think that was stupid. That was absolutely stupid.
Not based off of who they hired, but just the fact that they got rid of Ron and they're going defense and they brought in Dan Quinn.
I mean, are they in a better position? We knew Ron was going away. There was no way you were keeping him.
So because you don't like the Dan Quinn hire, you think they're in a better position or they're not in a better position?
No, they're not in a better position.
No. TJ, what's the vibe down there in your neck of the woods?
Same as I just told you. That was the most terrible decision they will ever make. They should have made it Bieniemy. Dan Quinn should have stayed in Dallas.
Brad, Chargers, Harbaugh versus Staley. This has got to be a no-brainer, right?
Oh, 10 out of 10.
I think
Next.
we all know that, right? Carolina Panthers, Dave Canellis, Frank Wright. I think Frank Wright got a raw deal. I'll be honest with you.
I agree. Being here in Indianapolis, again, did Frank Reich like the world on fire as a head coach? No, but he can groom quarterbacks. He can get them to play well. I mean, hell, he didn't even get 7 games with Bryce Young, and he's already out the door. Yeah, so I mean, I think that Panthers organization's got bigger problems than their head coach.
Yeah. What about you, Stoney?
Yeah, they like Brad said, they have a way worse problem than head coach. I mean, to be honest, I don't care who you bring in right now. It's if you're not at least close to winning the division, you're getting fired, and it's unfortunate. So does it help them? Maybe, we'll see, but they have a bigger problem than just head coach.
TJ, what you say, dog?
So I think for Carolina, Frank Wright really got boned on this one. I mean, he's a guy that was well respected coming into the season because he was the Carolina Panthers' first ever quarterback. And, this was a guy who they were like, dude, he could definitely bring the old Panther way back. And that's what I was really excited to watch because, dude, I'm 2-hour flight from Carolina. I mean, like, I could drive down to Carolina and watch a game, and I'm doing it next year. Frank Wright could have made Bryce Young very good, but he only got limited time with him. And I think that's what really bit Carolina in the ass this year. So I think this is, I'm going to give this a 1. This really screwed Frank Wright. And I think Carolina, yes, it doesn't matter the coach. It's that front office. And they're starting to do a lot better in the front office, but Carolina's dumpster fire right now.
Yep. Seattle, Brad, how do you like Mike McDonald versus Pete Carroll in a weird situation where he decided to leave?
Yeah, this is just an awkward situation, period.
Because he's still there, right? He's
like a consultant.
Yeah.
Kind of. But I'm not sure. A friend of mine at work, he's a huge Seahawks fan, and he's again very confused as to why you're getting rid of Pete, who is a defensive guy. You got Mike McDonald coming from Baltimore, a defensive guy. Yeah, it's just weird timing, weird situation. Just I think I'll give this one a question mark.
Yet to be determined.
Yeah.
Especially if like Pete Carroll was a consultant and helped make the pick, right? So it's a weird situation over there, but we'll see. Stoney, how do you like what's going on in Seattle?
Yeah, it's kind of a question mark for me too. I'm not really sure how I feel about this one. It's weird still having. I think that's just going to be weird between the two. So it's just a question mark.
Likewise, a weird situation is the fact that Gerard Mayo had it in his contract that he would be the next head coach of the Patriots when they get rid of Bill.
Yeah.
Brad, what do you think?
I don't know if that's weird.
That's weird.
I've never heard of a coach's contract to have that kind of language before, so it's new to me.
Yeah, that's interesting. TJ, what do you think about that?
We're on the Seattle one, correct?
Nope, this is New England with Gerard Mayo having it in his contract.
Okay. Oh, well, I'm going to give you my Seattle pick real quick because I got skipped over.
Sorry about that.
So for Seattle, I think this is a downgrade just because Mike McDonald is a defensive guy, and I'm not sure defensively if that's the team that I'd want to work for. So I'm going to give this one a good 4 out of 10. For New England, you know what? Gerard Mayo's been there for a while, so I'm going to give it like a solid 7. A good, sexy 7.
Sexy 7. I think we all agree that the Raiders did the right.
By the way,
that the Raiders did the right thing, and that's improvement, especially with a change that happened so early in the season that they don't have to go through any sort of culture changes or some guy's new attitude and new schedule of doing things. I think that's a really good fit for the Raiders and things going there. But Brad, Tennessee, letting go of Mike Vrabel in a shocker and bringing in Brian Callahan, one of the few offensive-minded folks that are coming in, right?
Yeah, I thought that was a quick trigger for Vrabel having a lot of success in Tennessee. In addition, I'm surprised to not see him hired in this cycle. So I think he'll definitely be the next one. But again, that's another question mark for me. I thought Mike Vrabel was doing a good job and didn't think he would have got fired.
Stoney?
I think he was. I think this could help him out, I guess. I mean, that depends on what you do in the offseason. So, I mean, if I have to rate it, I guess it's like a 4, but you just got to see because they're losing Henry. So that's a big piece.
I think it's higher than a 4. I think we're going to go on a 6 and a 7 scale because I think this is going to help improve their quarterback situation because they need to really solidify that. And I think Will Levis needs to be that guy. But they got they got 2-3 quarterbacks that are capable of, getting better and running a team. But the old adage, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. But I think this is better for their offense and Will Levis. And yeah, they're losing a 30-year-old running back though. It's the magic number, and they're going to get they'll get somebody else in there to be that cowbell running back, and I think it's good for them. TJ, what do you think?
Honestly, I'm going to kind of agree with Brandon. It will work itself out, so I'm going to question mark this one, but it's also going to deal with who stays and who goes for Tennessee. And Derrick Henry is one of those guys that I think it's the main guy. If he leaves, it's probably going to be a negative effect onto it.
I think he's gone.
Because there's talks of A.J. Brown possibly leaving too.
A.J. Brown left.
A.J. Brown's already left.
Yeah, that's the Eagles. My bad.
There's
Troy
choice
here giving us he likes the Chargers hire a lot. He likes the Raiders hire a lot. Likes the Patriots hire pretty well. That's
a big one.
I think that's overall what Troy put there is most of our consensus.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But the carousel stopped. The Bill Belichick sweepstakes continues. Like I said in the chat, you look for teams that are struggling in the GM head coaching situation, and maybe he's waiting it out. You look at teams like, dare I say, the Bears, Brad?
No.
Dare I say the Bears?
No.
Okay. All right.
I'm telling you, his best spot to go is Philly. Really, I don't think Sirianni stays. I don't
think Sirianni survives this offseason.
No.
I think he needs to say some stuff and do some right things. And then maybe the carousel hasn't stopped.
I don't think he stays. I mean, if you're Bill, you can't go to a young team. You just had a young team and you made them horrible. Like you made us look horrible. So I think you gotta go to somewhere where there's players on both sides.
You come to Annapolis High School and coach your alma mater.
What about Denver? Denver is such a freaking clown show that would they already have they're just like, you know what, we made a mistake.
I'd never thought of that.
We got a clean house,
but they're invested so much into
but after trade Russell
Wilson salary. I mean,
you look at it.
It's rough. It's rough.
Crazy stuff.
That's an option I didn't think about because they got some squad. They have some players on both sides.
Let's go ahead and some players, but change gears up. This past weekend was Royal Rumble, and we love our wrestling around these parts. Back-to-back Royal Rumble winner for the men, Cody Rhodes. This is anticipated in many circles, whether it had been him, CM Punk, Gunther, maybe even The Rock making a performance, but that never materialized. TJ, what's your opinion about Big American Nightmare taking his second Royal Rumble?
This is a nightmare. I hated this, dude. I did not want CM Punk to win it either, but it would have been it would have been great to see it because we know exactly who he's coming after right away. He would have gone straight after Seth Rollins. I think right now, the way that everything is pointing, yes, Cody wants to go back after Roman. I would take the challenge from Seth Rollins. Fight Seth. Because we already know he's leaving. They're going to give it to him. Why wait? So, yeah, I think this was stupid. I mean, everybody kind of knew he was going to win it. But at the same time, it was like, I wanted Drew to win it. In all honesty, I wanted Drew McIntyre to win it.
Marco, what's your take on this Rumble, bro?
So I'm a little out of touch with exactly what's going on in the ring at WWE. So my take is I'm okay with the double win. I'm okay with the story, finish the story, as they say. So I'm okay with Cody doing that. Also okay with CM Punk getting hurt and not winning it and go away for all I care. But yeah, so it was all right. Not the greatest Royal Rumble. We didn't get a Kofi spot. We didn't see a lot of the old guys. We had a weird Pat McAfee entry. No LA Knight, no Goldberg, no Brock. So yeah, it was.
LA was in that fatal 4-way. I don't think you can have a match on
True, you're right.
Rumble
unless you're Mick Foley, but whatever.
I think the biggest
3 times.
I'll say I think the biggest one, and Troy or no, Brad, you and I said this on Tuesday. Solo, where was he?
Yeah, that was
Agreed.
weird.
Brandon, how about you, man? What do you think of Rumble?
I mean, I definitely thought the women had a better Rumble than the men. But it was either Punk or Cody Rhodes that was winning it. But I think if you're Cody, I mean, Seth, he's right. What he said Monday night, if you want to finish your story, you gotta fight. You gotta face him. I don't think they're gonna give it. I don't think they're gonna give Roman, give it up. They just don't, and it's gonna suck. But
do you remember seeing
Rumble? I guess
I thought there were a couple of good spots in this Rumble, though.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad, but I thought the women were better. Honestly.
Yeah, I thought the appearance of Braun Breaker in the Rumble, and he ended up tossing like 4 or 5 dudes. In addition to Omos, all by himself.
Andrade came back. That was the one that really surprised me.
That was a big comeback.
That one, and that I feel like Andrade was a great comeback. And yes, Braun Breaker, I was waiting for him to get on that main roster. And after this showing, dude, that was he's a force to be reckoned with. And I think, he reminds me so much of Ryback.
I'm excited to see Braun Breaker on the main shows, whether it be SmackDown or Raw.
Do you think they're stuck in what they have with Punk being injured and Randy being injured as far as like storytelling wise? Because it would have been a good, had those two stayed healthy through that Rumble night. I think they're kind of hands are tied because what are you going to do for Roman?
Wait, did I miss something? Randy's out.
He got hurt. It's not been confirmed, but you could tell his shoulder it's messed up. Something's wrong with his shoulder. And then you got Punk with his bicep. So, what do you do with Roman now? Who are you going to choose for Roman?
Oh man, I think it's a big decision.
Yeah,
because do you go back-to-back years where last year you thought Cody would finish the story and then you actually have him do it a year later? I think if they do that, I think it's going to have to be some sort of special match where it's just not a standard match or people are banned from ringside. There's going to be something that's going to make that match different than what we had last year.
Like
exactly. That's what I was just going to say. What about the Rock spot when he came out and he said he wanted a seat at the head of the table,
right?
And like they brought that out and they didn't build anything off of that.
Like that has to get clarified. Like, and he said it on ESPN too. Like he mentioned that whole skit on ESPN. So like now it's really been publicly, kind of talked about. So, I mean, maybe Cody does choose Roman and like you get a Solo try to come out and Jimmy they try messing up, and you just hear The Rock, his music kick on, and I mean, they got to do something with The Rock. You can't tease something like that and then just not.
What if it was a shoot for the fact that they put him on the board for TKO?
That could be. I think that probably was foreshadowing right there.
Think so?
100%. He's like, I'm sitting at the head of the table. He runs that now, so he's probably got to go down the chain to like all the writers and everybody that's on, like the script writers, and say, listen, like, cool, Roman's head of the table, dude. He's tired of it. I mean, I guarantee he's probably like, dude, I'm tired of this. We got to find something else, because, I mean, I feel like the viewership for Rumble was very low, and even though they said there was like 47,000 people at Tropicana, if you look at the actual picture, like there were good drone shots that people were posting on Facebook. There were a lot of empty seats.
I think that's a lot of pregame. I don't believe that shit, because you can see there's some good camera shots when Rumble's going on. That place had some people in it.
Oh yeah,
I think what they show that is just
it's not hard to fill the Trop.
Like, I don't know.
It was a stadium record for attendance in that event.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, even going to a World Series, hasn't filled that place like the WWE has.
Well, yeah, you can't sit on the field while they're playing.
They got to do something with that Roman. I mean, you can't be fighting 3 times a year, or what feels like 3 times a year, and just keep being a champion. Like,
well, let's flip it over to the women's side. Brandon, you mentioned about the women's Rumble actually being a little bit better. My personal shoot on that is that I thought the first about like 10 to 13 entries were pretty boring. Other than you had a big comeback from Mrs. Uso, Naomi. That was a huge comeback. The Glow Queen.
They shocked me with that one. I didn't know who that was coming out at 2. Like, who the heck is this?
I mean, big return at the number 2 spot. That was huge. So what was your take on the women's Rumble and Bailey ended up coming out on top?
Yeah, I didn't. Mine wasn't so keen on the Bailey situation. I thought they would have gave it to Nia in her return. I thought they would have had something big for her, but hey, good for Bailey. It seems like they're trying to push the baby face, like somebody had mentioned in our group. It looks like they're gonna, but I still think you're gonna get a Nia versus Rhea title. I think Bailey's gonna turn. You're gonna see an Evolution 2.0, but just women's style. I think she's gonna turn. She's gonna go after one of those girls, and I still think you're gonna get Nia and Rhea. I think that's just too big. But yeah, that was good. That was very. They had some surprising returns. And yeah, the women killed it on that one.
TJ, how about you, bud?
Dude, I think the women had probably the best match. I think you're not wrong with like 10 or like, I want to say 9 to like 14, 15 was kind of boring. It's just like some of the NXT girls will come out. I know the TNA girl came out, which was it was all right. But, once you got towards the end, dude, like you were bringing out some heavy hitters like Jade Cargill, dude. That's a name that everybody was waiting for her to make that roster spot earlier last year when they signed her. They're like, all right, where's she at? Didn't hit NXT, didn't hit Raw, whatever they always showed, like, hey, she's working out, this, that, whatever. She came out and single-handedly took out Nia. And that was ridiculous. That was big.
Dumped her big. Like a sack of haters.
Dude, so I think the way they're going to set that one up is her and Bianca as a tag team. I think Damage Control is going to just fall. Bailey's going to take the title.
Yep.
The tag team titles are going to go to, I think Bianca and Jade are going to take it. But I tell you who kind of surprised me coming back was Liv Morgan. And I said this on Tuesday. That's my other wife, and I support her no matter what. But damn, dude, I was expecting her to win it, and then possibly using that to come after Rhea after Rhea took her out last year.
Yeah. Real quick, that TNA woman, Jordan Grace, that woman's a beast, y'all.
Yes. She is
She is a
scary.
brick
Yes.
shit house, man. Oh my goodness.
Jade Cargill, a freaking amazing. Would
Who
love
was,
the
who
debut.
was the girl she
I
was
mean,
throwing around like a rag doll?
Chelsea
that was
Green?
such a
Chelsea
worthless.
Green.
Dude, that
She did
was
a good job at.
comedy
She
right
did a
there.
good job at that, but that was that just felt so like her spot in that rumble was so worthless.
Well, now we got a
Yeah,
little
just
little,
to get absolutely reamed on. Just
we got a little WrestleMania talk out of the way, so we got some time before the big event and showcase of the Immortals takes place in April. We got baseball coming up soon. Baseball is going to be playing in the next about 3 to 4 weeks.
1 week, and we got pitchers, catchers.
All right,
already that time.
Starting with Marco, what got hot about baseball this offseason?
Again, the Cubs, Cody Bellinger. All the indications are that they're the front runner and they're just bidding against themselves. Just get him done. But I've got a feeling it's not going to happen until spring training, and he'll show up a couple days in. But that's the catalyst of okay, let's go for the Cubs. They got a good some good starting pitching. A Japanese guy nobody's seen before. We got the best defensive infield in the league. So if we can get Cody back, so we can score some runs, we'll be all right. But that's what I'm looking forward to.
TJ, what you got out there on the East Coast? Big O. Oh.
Boo!
Hold on a second. We're living this new mic real quick.
Strike.
So, all right. I will say the O's that pickup they had today was awesome. I love that pick. I'm gonna go with my Stros. All right. We lost Brantley Jr. to retirement. Great guy. He was an awesome player to watch. Seeing him play was amazing. Dude, was it Josh Hader we just picked up from the Padres?
He's washed.
You say that now. You say that now. I'm going to support him very much because little known fact about him. He played at Old Mill Senior High here in Maryland. He had a 1.14 ERA in high school. Dude was phenomenal. Won championships in high school. Came out of high school straight into the minors. Was awesome. Yeah, he had some rough starts in the pros, but I think with a solidified rotation that the Astros have, he's a good fit. And I think Verlander that he retires this year. He's done. I mean, he's old. He's up there. He's won his World Series. He's got him. He's he played with the Tigers. He's now known as an Astro forever and ever. So I'm excited to see what the Astros have, but I think the O's are definitely, with the new ownership and everything that's going on, I think the O's are going to definitely repeat as AL East champions. And then after that, dude, I'm with Marco. The Cubs need to sign this man. I'm sorry. If he doesn't, some teams want to come out and just steal him.
All right, Brandon, what you got, bud?
Man, we must have a motto in New England that says "Don't spend money." We are so lost up here that what are we doing right now? Why have we not fucking gone out and spent money to try to get people to help this organization out? We got this new owner that says we're going to do whatever we can, or I'm going to do whatever I can to get this, team back and winning. Well, what are you doing? Because you haven't done a single thing besides the Grisham pickup. Was it Grissom? No, the Grissom pick. That's about the only one that I like so far. I mean, but other than that, it's such a frustrating time in here in New England. But all eyes, as far as league wise, is on LA. That's gonna be like the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift talk of like the first month of the MLB season.
So, okay, let's talk about early season power rankings. MLB across the whole MLB, Marco. Who's your top three?
Well, you're gonna put the Dodgers up there just by default and everything that they've spent and everything that they're doing. And then I'm gonna put the Braves at number 2. And then I will say Texas at number 3. They haven't done anything to really get weaker. So so that's gonna be my 1, 2, 3. Yankees will always Yankee, so they're gonna be around in the mix. I love the fact that the Padres aren't gonna be good. So that's gonna be my 1, 2, 3, and the rest.
Who you got, Cowboy?
So I'll do a top 5. I'm gonna stay with Marco.
Top three.
Top 3. All right, my bad. All right, so I'm gonna say number 1, definitely. It's got to be the Dodgers. I mean, they're gonna put them power rankings just because who they picked up. Money buys everything. Money talks. Number 2, I actually have a surprise on this one. I think it's the O's. O's are number 2 coming in. They're hot. They're young. They really haven't lost much coming, in the offseason, coming into the new season. So they're my number 2. And my number 3 is the Rangers. And, they only lost Chapman. And Chapman really didn't do too much for them. Postseason, yeah, he had some strong outings, but that's the only really one person they lost. So I think they're going to come back strong as well and fend for the AL West title. And I think, again, it's going to come down to that final few weeks, between the Mariners, who they're still solid, the Astros are still solid, but, the Rangers, like I said, have not lost anything. So I got Dodgers, O's, and Rangers.
Personally, I think I'm going to put us in a situation where I think the Dodgers made the big splash, but I don't think they're the best team going to the league. I think that's going to be the Braves. Braves got the reigning MVP. Their pitching staff just got stronger. I mean, when you add Chris Sale, that's a huge pickup. I think they're all right. I like the Dodgers at number 2. And I think that's going to be Braves Dodgers going into that NLCS unless we get any surprises. And I also, even though Texas winning the World Series, I think they're going to take maybe like a smidgy step back. TJ, I agree with you. I like the O's. I like for them to battle for the AL East and keep Boston and the Yankees down the cellar where they belong.
So let me say this real quick because Troy's in here right now. For what I was told and what I've seen on MLB, didn't they just sign Troy Brower?
I did not see that.
I think they just signed him for like 4 years. So I don't know. I saw that. Now I know Troy's our resident Braves fan, so he was the one that would probably know that. But that's something that I saw.
Trevor Bauer is still a free agent.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that must have been like another fake account where I saw Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley coming to Dallas.
I think Troy asked a really good question there. How many years is it considered a failure for the Dodgers to win the World Series? This has
been the Dodgers for how long, though? Like up until 2020, that's been the same Dodgers. Get there in 18, you have a chance to win. At least try to get back into the series against Boston, and you blow it. Kershaw absolutely blows a stinker in the playoffs like he usually does. So, I mean, it's the same thing with the Dodgers. That's why I don't have them in my I don't have them number 1 in my list either. I still think the Phillies are they're right there. They are. I think they're going to do it next year. They're my pick for next year. I have them 1, Dodgers 2, and I really want to say the Rays. I mean, the Rays just how many times can you get that good and just not do anything with it? Like, I'm not ready to give Baltimore their granted, I'll give them their flowers for last year, but we've seen Baltimore have a year where they make the playoffs, they make a good little run, and then they go back to being Baltimore. So these kids gotta do it another year for me to actually believe that Baltimore is this next, young up and coming team. So, but I still think the Phillies they are hungry for that title, man.
All right, guys, we're wrapping things up tonight. We're gonna, man, it's already been an hour. I mean, a lot of good sports and scores and games that took place this week. But tomorrow, out of all days, the weirdest holiday that's celebrated here in the United States, Groundhog Day. So, Puxatawny Phil, get your ass out of that hole. See what kind of shadow we got. Starting with Stony Baloney. Will that groundhog see his shadow?
Buzz, I live in a state where we can literally, we know what our weather and seasons are going to be like just based on month. We don't need a groundhog to tell us if we're going to get more snow or if we're not going to get more snow. Like, we know, we have this stuff mapped out. Okay, from October to December, you could get snow by the time Halloween rolls around. If it's rainy, you're going to have a late winter. If it's not raining, then you're probably going to have an early winter. So we don't care about a groundhog. That's not going to change our seasons. We have 5 where I live.
So the question still stands: will he see his shadow?
Sure, let's go with that.
Sure, yes. He says yes.
Let's say yes.
Shadow. TJ, shadow or no shadow?
No shadow, because it's supposed to be very cloudy that tomorrow up there.
So he's scoping out the weather. He's a believer. Marco, how about you, man? Shadow, no shadow.
I'm gonna go with no shadow, because that's what that means, early spring. We have a huge thing here in Woodstock, Illinois, where they got a groundhog coming out and doing that. But did you know that the groundhog isn't even the smartest rodent? So I don't even know if he has a meteorology degree. I don't know why we're using them as the staple for predictions of weather. The smartest rodent actually hails from China. You got your Mongolian gerbil, right? He's not even as smart as the beaver. Beavers are smarter than groundhogs. They actually do something. I don't even know what a groundhog does except get pulled out of his hole and go back. Like beavers and badgers, yeah, they do stuff. The muskrat's a very smart rodent. So compared to these other things, the groundhog is an idiot. The Mongolian gerbil, actually, they communicate in a complex way with their peers to transmit information. So I didn't know that. I looked it up, but they can track where their predators are moving and know how to find their seeds and their stuff. So they stalk the predators versus the predators stalking them, those Mongolian gerbils. So you should probably ask them how the weather is going to be. But I'm going to go no shadow.
You're in my nerdy wheelhouse, Marco. Biology hits me right here, man. It hits me right here. So, if we're talking about evolution, I'm going to say that idiot rodent will not see a shadow, and we will have an early spring. Going into next week, everybody, we'll have Super Bowl previews, a little more, maybe a little NBA, MLB action, and signing off for Marco.
Well, before we leave, can I make a quick shout out?
Yeah,
real quick. So I want to make a quick shout out to my boy Danny. He started his own business called H&H Home Improvement. Dude has been working his tail off, and he watches this, and it was something I promised him. So, you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, anybody in the state of Maryland, give him a follow, and I'll post it in our group chat or our page as well. The dude is working very hard, and the first 4 customers have already said they're going to continue to go for him. So, Danny, you've killed it, my dude. Congratulations.
Good stuff. Way to get those manly shout-outs out there for all those Dans. So, again, take 2. Mark. That's what Bacon Talk to Sports. See you next week, everybody.
If you're looking for a six-pack, muscled up kind of man, better look somewhere else. Yeah, I can stand to lose a few pounds, but for right now, I'm working on my diet.